Hey, and we're back. How about it? I'm so hoping that today, if you saw anything yesterday, oh my God, what a mess, right? Um, so welcome back. This is the second stream of the Brit Happens channel. We might be having Nikki, you may know her as Seize the Day, to kind of finish and wrap up what we were talking about yesterday, which is the Commonwealth's motion in the Karen Reed case to remove the highly qualified Dr. Marie Russell from the stand. They don't want her. Thank you, Taryn. So glad to see you, my love. So I moved a couple of the lights a little closer. And I just want to comment that I am not as tan as I might have looked yesterday. I just my lighting is shite. That's all. So anyway, we may have Nikki, who you guys might know as Seize the Day, on here as well to kind of go over it with me and have some chitty chat. Oh, what movie is that from? Is that from Kung Fu Panda? I don't know. Anyway, so we are the type of people here in the Free Karen Reed community who finish what we started. And yesterday we had some catastrophic failures in the stream. Can everybody hear me okay now? Everybody can see me okay now? Taryn, I think you're the only one watching right this second. But are we good? G to G? All right, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and start then. Hey, girl, you know, it wouldn't be anything in my life, a Brit Happens channel, if there weren't some bumps in the road, let me tell you. Okay, awesome. I will go ahead and proceed then. First of all, before I do, welcome back, Queen Olive. So glad to have you here. Let's get back into it. For those of you who are just popping in, we had some catastrophic failures yesterday in my connection, but my husband, Mr. Brit Happens, helped me get an extender for the Wi-Fi. So we are going to finish what we started. We are not quitters here. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I'm going to give a brief overview of what we went over yesterday. We were talking about, let's see, present, share screen. If you guys do not follow, let's see. If you guys do not follow the Karen Reed updates page on the Twitter, you absolutely should. Let's go ahead and add this. Here we go. So this is the Commonwealth's motion to remove Dr. Marie Russell, who, in my humble opinion, is more qualified than the majority of medical professionals in this country to testify regarding dog bites. Is Dr. Russell coming to court this week, or did I make that up? So this week, we do have a hearing. I don't remember the exact day that it's happening, but we are expecting a ruling on whether Dr. Russell will be in the actual trial, the sequel. Now, part of what we did yesterday was we were going over some of the information that we have on Dr. Russell, certain things from the interwebs that I was able to find from about 20 years ago. This is from the LA Times. And in case you guys didn't hear it yesterday, this is by Jane Allen. And she details how Dr. Russell, despite being a doctor, she still uses so much of her law enforcement brain from when she was serving as a police officer in the state of Massachusetts, mind you. Yes, Taryn. Okay, Taryn, I think you are referring to Dr. Russell being more qualified than the majority of medical professionals in the country to testify regarding those marks on Officer John O'Keefe's arm. So this, just a trigger warning, guys, this entire article here does get a little bit graphic, but I'll just give you the broad strokes. So the author of this article, Jane Allen, she describes Dr. Russell having a patient in the ER in California that she was working at the time. And it was somebody who sustained a GSW and was still alive, okay? She's not there as a forensic pathologist. She's there as an ER doctor. And Dr. Russell found a way to remove the bullet from this patient without using any medical tools. And why did she do that, guys? It's because she wanted to preserve any potential evidence that could be used to help find the assailant, the one who did this to Dr. Russell's patient. Fantastic, fantastic, brilliant mind as a medical professional. So, Judge Cannone, Fone Balone Cannone, is going to be supposedly voir direing Dr. Russell again. Hello, Patricia. So glad you popped in, hun. Glad to have you here. So, Patricia, we are going over Dr. Russell's qualifications. And, you know, this is pretty much just to say that Judge Fone Balone Cannone has absolutely no business making an understandable ruling to remove Dr. Russell. It just shouldn't happen. So let's look at Dr. Russell's voir dire, where she goes over her, so in any kind of trial, when you're voir direing somebody, you're going to want to get to know three main things about that person: their education, their experience, and their expertise. So this is where she is sharing those three things. Bear with me, guys. I'm just trying to get this this screen shared with y'all. We're gonna put it in theater mode. All right, here we go. Patricia, me too, girl. Me too. We were saying yesterday that we just want to like
your voice
bake her
up,
some
speak
cookies.
right into that microphone, doctor, okay?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, go ahead, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. Could you please state?
Guys, before I continue, can everybody hear the video okay? I just want to do quick little checks to make sure that we still are live on comms. Can everybody hear, could everybody hear the video that I was playing? Okay, well, awesome. Awesome. Wonderful. Wunderbar. Let's continue.
State your name and spell your last name for the record.
Yes. Marie Russell, Russell.
And I'm going to echo what the court just indicated. The air conditioners are on, so please keep your voice as elevated as possible and maneuver the microphone however you need to, okay?
Okay.
Dr. Russell, what do you do for a living?
I am a retired emergency physician and forensic pathologist.
And tell me what education you have, going all the way back to the beginning, that qualifies you as an emergency physician and former pathologist before you retired.
Okay. Well, I've had about at least 16 years of formal education beyond high school. Initially, I started at MIT, where I did my pre-med courses. I had always wanted to be a physician. And so I went to MIT for a year, took pre-med courses. And then I had an unusual life event in that my mother came down with cancer and she subsequently passed away. During the time away, I took some.
Okay, guys. So did we all hear that? That Dr. Russell began her collegiate journey at MIT. The MIT for pre-med. Okay, that alone shows that right off the bat, the second that Dr. Russell became an adult and began her collegiate experience, she meant business. Okay? Dr. Russell meant business. She is not here to play games.
Time off from school. During that period of time, I decided to explore another interest of mine, which
That
was
part, Taryn.
law enforcement.
That part.
And so I took some courses in law enforcement, and I became a full-time police officer here in Massachusetts.
What years were you at MIT?
That was 1972 to 1974.
Did you go to the police academy?
I did. Once I became a police officer here in Massachusetts, I attended the Boston Police Academy where I graduated.
What year was that?
That was in 1977.
During the course of your training as a police officer, did you have any specialized training in hit and run and accidents and investigations?
Yes, I did.
And which agency did you work for as a sworn peace officer?
I worked for the city of Malden full-time for 7 years.
That would be from 1977 to 1984, approximately?
Correct.
During that time, did you continue your education in any way?
Yes,
I did.
Patricia. So we went over this yesterday a little bit, but I really want to reiterate this. Dr. Russell was the first female police officer in the city of Malden. The first lady to serve in law enforcement as a police officer in the city of Malden. Big stuff. And did you guys catch that at the police academy, she specialized in hit and run accidents? She received specialized hit and run training. Okay, so she, even outside of the dog bites, would be somebody who I would bring in as an expert witness over maybe Trooper Paul, Mr. Potatoes for Brains. That's all I have to say about that.
I took as many courses as I could from the Massachusetts Criminal Justice Training Council, which included a several-day course in hit and run accident investigation. I took courses in forensic photography, and numerous other things. And then, and I also at the same time continued to go to college, and I did.
Taryn, I love this comment. I absolutely love this comment. So it's not her expertise that deep down inside they're wanting to refute, okay? All this entire show is going to tell you guys tonight is that there is no refuting Dr. Russell's expertise, okay? What they are trying to do, like Taryn is saying oh so eloquently right here, that's why they don't want her to testify. It's because they don't want to hear what she has to say, or more appropriately, they don't want the jury to hear what she has to say. All right, all right. And also, just to kind of answer your little half question in there, I was speaking with attorney Andrew Myers this afternoon. He is a lawyer in the state of Massachusetts. He's a member of the Massachusetts Bar. He said that she, being Judge Canone, can indeed just stop her from testifying. The law gives judges, in his words, a pretty wide berth as to who can come on as an expert witness nowadays. It used to be a whole lot easier. Like, you used to be able to look up experts in a big, like, state-provided book. It was almost like a phone book, the yellow pages for expert witnesses. However, now it's a little harder, and almost all of it is up to the judge. It's kind of at the judge's discretion. So Beverly Canone still can, if she chooses, decide not to allow Dr. Russell to testify in the Karen Reed trial sequel. However, I think that her reputation would never recover, because Dr. Russell has testified in so many cases, it's not even funny. I mean, more than we could count. So, oh, everybody. She's almost ready. Okay, Nikki just got here. I'm gonna bring her in 2 seconds because it looks like she's still kind of getting her camera configured and constituted and all that. So
That part-time, where I eventually got a bachelor's degree of science in psychology with highest honors.
What institution was that from?
That was from Northeastern University.
And that was a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology?
I think it was a Bachelor of Science.
Bachelor, did we hear that, guys? So after going to MIT for pre-med, and after finishing the Boston Police Academy and receiving specialized training in hit and run accidents, Dr. Russell received a Bachelor of Science in psychology. Okay? Like, what can't this woman do? I'm writing this down. Write that down. Here we go. Is Nikki ready? Nikki's ready. Okay, everybody, I would like to introduce to you my dear, dear friend. You may know her from YouTube chats. You may know her from TikTok. But this is my friend, Nikki. Please give her a very, very, very warm welcome, all three of you.
Hey, how are
goodness.
you?
Hey, Chica, so glad to see you.
Good to see you. And look, you're not frozen. I'm so proud of you.
I know, it's going so much better now that we got this Wi-Fi extender set up in this room.
Love it. Love it.
and
I'm so proud of you.
And I don't know if you can tell from the lack of StreamYard logo in the corner there, as opposed to yesterday, but just in case, because you know how some technology companies, they want you to upgrade and get, like, the newest, most expensive
The whole
version.
package. The whole
Mhm.
package. Yeah.
Whole stinking thing. So that being said, I went ahead and just in case it was StreamYard trying to pull some bogus, I went ahead and upgraded and gave them my money. So
Oh, they love
um,
that. They want all the
so I did
money.
that. So they will be
Yay.
getting my money every month now to do this, but that's okay. We're doing this for Karen, right? We're
Well,
doing this for Karen. We're doing this for justice.
you look and you sound great. So I'm so, so proud of you. So you're doing awesome.
Aw, shucks. All right, guys. Okay, so Nikki, just to catch you up, because you did
Yeah.
miss the first couple minutes, we kind of briefly did a quick overview of what we went over yesterday, just because so much was coming in and coming out on my end. And I do apologize yet again, guys, for what happened yesterday.
No
It was
apologies needed. I keep telling
shit
you.
happens on the Brit Happens channel. All right. So,
Streaming is
anywho,
dynamic.
right. It wouldn't be something in my life without there being problems. So, right now we're going over Dr. Russell's education, her experience, and her expertise, which in any trial, anytime you bring in an expert witness, and you already know this because you are a true crime guru.
I don't know about a
you're-
guru, but yeah.
Oh, honey, you are buffing stuff when it comes to how a lot of this stuff works. So, in most trials, when they bring in an expert witness for a voir dire, the three cornerstones that they're going to cover are education, experience, and expertise. So
That's right.
this is Dr. Russell's voir dire from the Karen Reed trial, part 1, since we will be having a sequel this April.
Well, and I am surprised that Auntie Bev does not require the attorneys to say, Your Honor, I would like to, make this person an expert, or deem this person an expert moving forward. And then usually the judge will say, okay, Dr. Marie Russell is an expert in X, Y, and Z. So noted. Just like the same way that every witness or whoever that got up on the stand never pointed out, Karen, like, do you see the defendant in the courtroom? If you could, please point to her. What is she wearing? Can you describe her? Your Honor, I'd like to show on the record that they pointed to the defendant, Karen Reed, whatever.
That's right.
None of that stuff was done. Or he's pointing to his right elbow. I'd like the record to reflect that, Bobo the bozo is pointing to his right elbow or whatever. They didn't do any of that stuff. And that's so weird to me.
Well, attorney Andrew Myers was telling me on the phone today that nowadays, it used to be very much like what you said. In fact, if they had the credibility, their names and contact information essentially went. Oh, yeah. Taryn says she finds that strange as well.
Yeah,
yes, love.
right?
I think we're all in the same boat. So Attorney Myers was telling me today that, there almost used to be a phone book. Yes, Patricia. So there almost used to be like a phone book, like a yellow pages for experts. Like you could just submit your education, expertise, and experience. And, and then bam, you're right there. So it was so easy for a lawyer just to be able to flip through. He said that he even was covering a case on, I think one of the litigants was Home Depot, the company. And there was literally a Home Depot expert in that book. I mean, it was quite interesting to hear that. But now that, we've come so much farther beyond books, access to information and connecting with other people is so much easier. Now, pretty much the lawyers just do their own research and
Mhm.
bring forward who they want. And then it's completely up to the judge. The judge is given by the law a very wide berth of who who they would like on the stand or not. So if Judge Canone rules with the Commonwealth on this motion to remove Dr. Marie Russell, she is within every right, as far as we are aware, to do that, even despite the fact that she allowed Dr. Russell in Karen Reed trial part 1. She
Right.
can still, for Karen Reed the sequel.
Yeah. But remember, it's a new trial only when it's convenient for Aunt Bev.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely. But we're going to stay with what we were doing before,
yeah, go right ahead. I'm
if it's
sorry I
convenient for
interrupted
her
you and I
on
was
the other
late.
side of that coin.
Yeah, go
Mhm.
right ahead.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, Taryn, she will. Yep.
100%.
I don't know what to expect this week. I mean, Bev went buck wild last week in allowing the Commonwealth to take the personal notes of Gretchen Voss. I mean, are you serious? Even I don't like any of it. I don't like any of it for the First Amendment and freedom of the press. However, if she were to allow some of that motion, I would understand a lot more, in that I will allow any correspondence directly with the defendant, but
Right.
personal notes.
Yeah. Which, I mean, Gretchen can basically write down whatever she wants right now and say that those were her notes, and nobody would be any of the wiser, you know? And if she was smart, she would take her notes to a military base and then
And do what
show
Brian
up and
Higgins
be
did.
like, so I didn't get the notice until the very next day, and I had already destroyed them, And remember, her notes are not legal documents. Her notes are her impressions of what was
Precisely.
going on and putting that down. So her impressions could be very different than the other 3 people in the room, if there were 3 other people in the room, than anybody else's. So how is that now a legal binding document to go over her notes? That's just
And how
absolutely ridiculous to me. It doesn't
and
make
how are
any
her notes?
sense. And obviously, journalism and the First Amendment is dead in the state of Massachusetts unless it fits the narrative that the Commonwealth wants to spew. But that's just my
Absolutely.
personal opinion. What do I know?
And how are Gretchen Voss's personal notes evidence?
Right. Exactly.
I mean, how is
Exactly.
that admissible? All she's doing is jotting down what she's thinking, or the direction that she wants to go with the questioning, really. I mean, she might be writing down a couple key words that Karen Reed says, but she's not writing down anything that her attorneys are saying to her. I mean, I don't work for Boston Magazine, but I can imagine that all that's in there is just questions that she wants to ask Karen. Not
she could be
necessarily.
doodling and saying, I got to find out where Karen got those amazing shoes. Are those
Mhm.
going to be, put into evidence? You know what I mean? Like,
all I'll say is, if the Commonwealth sent a subpoena like that to me, I would draw a big fat Johnson at the
right.
bottom of
Exactly.
my notes
There you go.
and send it to them. I would.
I'm pretty sure you could say that on YouTube. You can't say it on TikTok, but I'm pretty sure you can say it on YouTube.
There's a lot of things we can do on YouTube, Nikki, that we can't do on
there'd be a
TikTok.
lot of dick pics going to Bev Canoni if that's what she asked for. I mean, I'm just saying.
Just saying.
Right?
So, Nikki, here's where we are in the Dr. Russell
Okay.
voir dire. So she has told us so far that since high school, she received 16 years of post-high school education. She
Crazy.
went to MIT
Right.
right out of high school, like, okay, Haas,
Yeah.
we
Right.
mean business, where she began her pre-med course. Oh, yes. Okay. Taryn and Patricia are with us.
Nice. Well, I think that
The dick
Dr.
pics.
Marie Russell is the definition of boss bitch before it was ever a term.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So after MIT, she took some time off to take care of her mother.
Right.
And while she did that,
Who passed
she was
away.
going to the Boston Police Academy
Yeah.
and serving as the first female law enforcement officer
Yeah.
in the city of Malden, Massachusetts.
Yeah. Isn't
The
that
first.
insane? Like, she's just like, oh, well, in my spare time, so while I'm taking care of my dying mother, let me just go ahead and become a cop. Just for
Mhm.
shits and giggles.
Just on the side,
Because it's interesting to me. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna see if I can't lean my thing up a little bit so I don't have to hold it. And I know I have shaky hands, so I apologize. So go ahead. I'm listening. I apologize.
And then after completing the Boston Police Academy, she took additional courses specializing in hit and run accidents.
Yeah.
So we're already beyond Trooper Paul here. Then, while we're at it, we're going to get a Bachelor of Science in Psychology. Okay. So, I feel like this woman has channeled her ADD in ways that I wish I knew how. Okay. My ADD causes chaos. Hers brings glory. Okay. So let's go ahead and continue with her voir dire.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm gonna try to turn my volume up because I think you got quieter. Go ahead.
Okay.
Got it. Subsequent to your Bachelor of Science degree from Northeastern, did you also advance your education further, formally?
Subsequent to so yes, so I decided that I did want to pursue a medical career, and so I then attended medical school, University of Massachusetts Medical School, full time for 4 years.
Did you ultimately get a degree, an MD degree from UMass?
Yes, a Doctor of Medicine degree in 1987.
So you were there from 1983 to 1987, is that right?
That is correct.
And did you do a residency?
I did 2 residencies actually. Most people do 1. But
2 mofoing
Yeah.
residencies.
She's just like, one's not enough. You know what? This is too easy. Give me another one. Why not?
I'm telling you, what can't Dr. Russell do? Okay.
Apparently
what can
win
she
over Beth
not do?
Pinoni.
Right. 2 residencies after completing her medical degree with the
Yeah.
University of Massachusetts Medical School. I mean, holy cannoli. I'm telling you, I got to know how to channel my ADD the way she does.
Well,
But
and I don't think
I did too.
ADD was even a thing back then. Like, it was a thing. We didn't have a word for it. You're talking early 70s. So this
Well,
woman was, like, just give me more and don't let me get bored. Because if I
Yeah,
get bored, I get dangerous. So like,
girlfriend
Give it all
made
to me.
it work for shiz.
Yeah.
For shiz. All right, let's hear more of what this lady has done.
I did my first residency was a combined internship and residency for 4 years, and I did that in Los Angeles at Los Angeles County Medical Center, which is a very big trauma center, and what I would consider the Bellevue of the West Coast. Very busy.
You say that just because of the volume at USC Medical Center?
That is correct.
Is it one of the busiest medical trauma centers in the country?
Yes.
You were there from 1987 to 1991, is that right?
I did my ER internship and residency during those years. Yes, there.
During that time, were you seeing patients
Oh,
You
yes,
were treating patients?
lots
Oh
of
my
them.
gosh,
You were
I just
attending
realized
attending to
something.
patients?
I was,
Okay,
I was
sorry,
a
I'm gonna pause
trainee,
it.
so I was,
It takes me a second to pause and
You're
continue.
okay.
Sorry. What did you
I
just realize?
apologize. I apologize. If she was there from 87 to 91, when was Rodney King? It was 90, right?
Hang on, I'm on it.
Pocket Brit to the rescue.
Let's see, Rodney King incident, at least the trial, the riots and things like that happened in 1992, but the incident itself did take place in 1991, Nikki.
Let me tell you, talk about a
That was
shit
one hell of a
show.
time to be at the
And-
LA County ER.
Well, that's where they would have went. That
Mhm.
USC Medical Center is the closest trauma center to where all of that nonsense happened. So just a little, a little thing so that people understand the time that she was at USC Medical Center was during the Rodney King and all of that.
Write that down. And guys, for those of you who do not know, and Nikki, if I'm sorry, since you kind of hopped on midstream, I didn't really get to give you a full and formal introduction. So
I don't need one.
Nikki,
I don't need
Nikki
one.
grew up in SoCal, guys. She is from Southern California. So if you hear her say jack squat about Los Angeles or the surrounding area, you can take her word for gospel because she knows what the heck she's talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but it's just like light bulb. So go ahead.
oh, no, you're gravy. And since I have ADD, I'm going to back it up about 30 seconds.
Okay.
Subsequent to your Bachelor of Science degree from Northeastern, did you also advance your education further formally?
subsequent to. So yes, so I decided that I did want to pursue a medical career. And so I then attended medical school, University of Massachusetts Medical School full-time for 4 years.
Did you ultimately get a degree, an MD degree from UMass?
Yes, a Doctor of Medicine degree in 1987.
So you were there from 1983 to 1987, is that right?
That is correct.
And did you do a residency?
I did 2 residencies, actually. Most people do 1, but I did 2. I did, my first residency was a combined internship and residency for 4 years. And I did that in Los Angeles at Los Angeles County Medical Center, which is a very big trauma center and what I would consider the Bellevue of the West Coast. Very busy.
You say that just because of the volume at USC Medical Center?
That is correct.
Is it one of the busiest medical trauma centers in the country?
Yes.
You were there from 1987 to 1991, is that right?
I did my ER internship and residency during those years. Yes, there.
During that time, were you seeing patients?
Oh,
You were
yes,
treating patients?
lots of them.
Oh,
Attending
yes.
attending to patients?
I was a trainee, so I was seeing as many patients as we could. There was always a waiting room full of patients, and yeah, so I saw many patients during that time period.
Did you indicated a second residency? Tell me about that.
Okay, so I still realized I had an interest in forensics, and I decided that I wanted to also train in forensic pathology. So I did a second residency in anatomic pathology, 2 years, followed by forensic pathology fellowship at the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office for 2 years.
And the years, if that's 4 years, that would be from 1991 to 1995 approximately?
So, guys, for those of you who are not aware, a fellowship is kind of the same type of training and educational program that comes after a residency. So you complete your medical degree, and then most doctors do after that one residency where you kind of dig into your specialty a little bit. So like if you want to become a neurologist, you do a residency with that. If you want to be more of an orthopedic doctor, you do a residency with that. If you want to become a surgeon, you would do an internship and a residency for certain types of surgery. So the fellowship is kind of like a higher degree of what we would consider a residency to be. Okay, so she did 2 residencies followed by a fellowship in forensic pathology. Okay, big time. This girl is in the big leagues now.
Don't let her get
That is
bored.
correct.
Tell me what your experience was as a fellow at the Los Angeles Coroner's Office, Los Angeles County Coroner's Office.
Yes, well, it also was a very busy coroner's office. And so every day there would be cases. I probably did at least 2 cases a day, most days, and plus conferences and educational opportunities. But the interesting thing about being a fellow is they try to give you a wide assortment of cases. So, for instance, I not only saw numerous victims of gunshot violence and stabbings, but I saw numerous victims of motor vehicle accidents and natural death, overdoses. And then if there was an unusual case, it usually went to the fellow, because the fellow was also being supervised. So
Did any of those unusual cases, and we'll get more into this in just a second, but did any of those unusual cases include animal attacks?
yes,
Did you become a professor, an educator at any point?
yes. So during my 29 years at LA County Hospital, during the last 25 of those, I was a assistant professor or an instructor, but mostly an assistant professor. And what that meant is that I was responsible for overseeing the care that was provided by the interns and residents. So when a patient would come in into the hospital, the emergency room, they were oftentimes usually seen by the intern or resident, and then I would go and subsequently see that patient also. So, and that was in addition to my own cases. So I'd see my cases and their cases.
And that was at LAUSC, correct?
That is correct. And
Can I
again,
ask a quick question?
yes.
LAUSC, for those of us who are not necessarily familiar with it, is that associated with the University of Southern California Medical Center?
yes.
That's the school, in other words, the site.
Yes, so it stands for Los Angeles County / University of Southern California Medical Center.
And that's where you were an assistant professor for the majority of the rest of your career.
Correct.
Were you also an assistant or an adjunct professor at Cal State Los Angeles?
Yes,
Okay. For how long were you an adjunct professor there?
I believe that was 4 or 5 years. And I taught criminalistics, forensic medicine there.
As an attending physician in the ER, in other words, a supervising physician in the ER, can you tell us what some of your duties and responsibilities included, especially as it pertains to trauma? And then I'll get more specific in just a second.
Okay, well, so I would oversee the care of all the patients that came in during a particular shift. And that would include medical patients and trauma patients. And as I mentioned, it was a very busy trauma center. So we had lots of trauma patients, including the types of violence I described earlier that I saw at the coroner's office, but lots of motor vehicle accident victims, because there was a highway there right nearby. There were a couple of highways, so wide variety.
Okay, so we haven't even gotten into her dog bite expertise yet, okay? But what we have seen so far between her fellowships in forensic pathology and her fellowship in forensic pathology at the LA Coroner's Office, and then her experience here at the USC Medical Center. This
Well,
woman knows.
Not only
go ahead,
that,
Nikki.
but she was also at Cal. which is a completely different university, where she did the coroner stuff and all of that, Not me. I'm a retired nurse who worked in ICU trauma early in my career, right? You're like, you can only handle trauma for so long before it weighs on you. This woman did it for the better part of 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
for her whole career, that and dead people.
Yeah.
But I mean, what I'm trying to say, guys, is that we haven't even gotten into her dog bite expertise yet. But this woman sure knows her shit about car accidents.
trauma.
Okay.
Trauma.
Well,
Lots of trauma.
but she also, well, yeah, the injuries and trauma from car accidents because of her ER expertise. She specifically said many of my patients were car accident victims because of the proximity
The highway right
of
there.
the
There's-
hospital to local highways. So
It's actually
yeah.
2 freeways right by there. So yeah, and there's a lot. Hi, Kuma. Sorry.
Right.
There's
No,
a,
no, no. You
She
are
has
all
to say
Brady
hi.
in the Navy.
She has to say hi. All the puppies. Okay, get down. Go.
Hello, puppy.
Shh. Stop. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. I'll
No,
try to-
Hakuna Matata.
I'll try
We
to
love
control
puppies
the
here.
animal kingdom over here.
Yeah, puppies are always welcome.
Of accidents.
Did your supervision include assessing, diagnosing, and treating patients?
Correct.
In terms of the middle part of that, diagnosis, was part of your job to determine the cause of injuries or to at least assess the cause of injuries?
Yes, and I took that on a little bit more because I was interested in the forensics aspect of the injuries.
The forensic aspect.
Yes.
Okay. During your time at LAUSC, even after you left the Los Angeles Coroner's Office as a fellow, did you continue to stay in contact with the Coroner's Office and have a relationship with the Coroner's Office as a supervising physician?
So, Clerk Jim Clown says, what's going on in Auntie's mind when she looks at Dr. Russell? Probably pictures Mr. Jackson smirking, winking, and daring to grandstand in my courtroom. Absolutely. We saw her try to throw off Dr. Russell and confuse her. Just to kind of make her look maybe not as credible.
Yeah, she brought up, in your opinion, what was, to what degree of certainty are you? And she tried to trip her up, and she said, certain. And she was like, certain? I think she was waiting to hear buzzwords like absolutely certain or, whatever. But I think Auntie Bev needs to be the smartest person in the room. And when she's not, I think she becomes a little defensive and wants to throw the other smart people off their game, so she can see, she's not really that impressive. No, Bev, she's super impressive. We all want to be Dr. Russell when we grow up, okay? Let me tell you, it would take us 3 lifetimes to do what she did in 1.
Yep.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Bev loves her high horse, guys.
She lives there.
I continued to stay in contact with the coroner's office, and I used to attend their conferences as often as I could, not as a supervising physician, but as a physician and a graduate of their program.
During your tenure at LAUSC, did you ever become the director of any programs at LAUSC?
Yes.
Does that include the director of Center for Life Support Training?
Yes.
What years was that, if you remember?
I don't remember that.
The early 2000s, late 90s?
Yes, that sounds about right.
Okay.
And we would conduct lots of courses, including trauma, life support courses.
Did LAUSC incorporate a quality improvement program
Yes.
within their institution?
Yes.
Did you become a director of that as well?
Yes.
So you were director of Center for Life Support Training and director of LAUSC Medical Center Quality Improvement. Is that right?
The quality improvement was for the emergency department.
All right.
Yes.
And did you also become the director for jail medical services?
Yes.
What is the association between LAUSC and the very, very expansive jail system in Los Angeles County?
So LA County Hospital was unique in that they many, many years ago developed a jail, what they called a jail ward, which was a combined inpatient, outpatient, and ER. So there was a dedicated jail ER. And that has been in existence for probably about 70 years now. And patients that were placed under arrest by either LA sheriffs, LAPD, California Highway Patrol, or any of the municipal agencies in the area, and I think there were about 70 or more municipal agencies, could bring their patients to the LA County jail ward where the patients would get treatment.
Ultimately, you became the director of that entire program, correct?
Yes.
Did you also work with the State Medical Board of California in any capacity?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
For about 7 years, I worked part-time for the California Medical Board as a physician assigned to one of their enforcement teams. And I did.
Okay. So after being the director of not one, not two, but 3 programs associated with USC Medical Center, girlfriend
Yep.
sat on the California State Medical Board.
Yep.
Are we
I mean-
understanding what it takes to be that kind of boss?
Like I said, boss bitch before it was even a term.
Yeah. The best of the best. You have to be held in the highest regard.
Yeah. Sorry if you can hear the dogs drinking water in the background. They're really loud.
Did that one day a week, and I did my other job at the county hospital the other 40 hours a week.
So you didn't take off time from your duties as an ER physician, as an emergency physician. This was in addition to you being an emergency physician.
That is correct.
Right.
You
I
had
still
the
had to
title
see
of
my
Chief Medical
patients.
Executive for the
While sitting on the
California State
medical board.
Prison System, specifically at Corcoran.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So I retired from LA County Hospital, and I went on to move on to the the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation.
And what year was that? Did you make that transition?
So 2018 is when I started for the state prison system.
Okay.
And I worked there for 5 years as director of their medical service
So you were
in
the-
Corcoran.
I'm sorry. So for that prison, within that system, you were the chief medical executive for the entire agency, correct?
That is correct.
All right.
For the entire prison.
Understood. Are you board certified in emergency?
Okay, guys. So I don't know how many of you have been to jail. If anyone has, this is a judgment-free zone. But I would like to hear from someone with experience about how much of, jail medical, if you've been in, what do they call it? Let's say you get sick while you are incarcerated and you have to go, I forget what they call it, but basically their medical ward. I would like to know how much of it is illness and how much of it is injury, because I know that things happen in there.
Yep.
People disagree, and when you have certain personalities that don't mix well together, many of whom already are in there for only puppy jail, we both escaped. Love it, Jim. Love it, Jim. Oh, we've got another one in Nikki's Nick of the Woods.
Sorry.
So, hey, no, Hakuna Matata. But when you are the director of the California Department of Corrections Rehabilitation Medical Service, Taryn says she may be a warden.
Oh, look at you.
Well, lady. But yeah, I would be very interested in knowing kind of what percentage, as far as causation demographics go, is from injury, from trauma, and not from illness, disease, things like that.
Yeah, and not only that, but I mean, as far as injuries, you know, I've had to respond to a few not so nice injuries myself in Southern California as a SARS responder, which is sexual assault response. Shh. Sorry.
Thank you for your service, by the way.
She's
in
going
that
crazy.
regard.
Oh, of course. But anyway, so because we had a prison out where I was, I would get called in for those calls as well. So yeah.
Nikki, I know that you have your live stream on TikTok here.
Yeah, I'm trying to create a note to put there, and I'm struggling with technology like always. I know, shocker, right? Like,
well, please
good,
know
honey.
you were excused any time. Patricia also says thank you
oh, thank you
for
No, you're
what
good.
you've done for the community, because it is a whole stinking lot.
Yeah, thank you. And I mean, I don't want to say I was happy to do it. I wish I didn't have to, but I'm glad that, you know, I could.
Well, we're never happy that there's
do what
a
I
need.
did. Right, exactly.
Mhm. But we're glad that you were there and that you heeded the call, so to speak.
Well,
To the
thank you. I
public.
appreciate that. Okay, you need to get down. No.
So
Sorry.
Taryn says, I could tell you some horror stories. Example, a few months back, one inmate bit off the ear of another inmate over a game of Dungeons and Dragons. You got to be kidding me. I mean,
did they think that they were Mike Tyson or what?
Right. And this is one thing that, Taryn, I would love to have a discussion with you on this stream sometime, because I am a recovering addict. One thing that I did, I was never incarcerated, but my life got bad enough to where I needed to do something and I needed help. It's very difficult for a type 1 diabetic to detox and come off of that stuff on her own. Plus, there are some significant changes that you have to make yourself. You have to change yourself a whole lot in order to be successful. And this April, I will have celebrated 8 years.
Woo! Congratulations.
Thank you. Now, my reason for bringing that up is that one thing I did was I put myself in a program that kind of operated like a halfway house. It was a residential program where you kind of weaned back into regular life. It wasn't an actual halfway house, but you over time you would detox. There would be some programs to assist you, and then as time went on, you could work, you could earn money, you could have a cell phone, and little by little you would take on your responsibilities back and kind of learn how to cope with those stressors in life. But one thing I did notice, especially when I was first in there and people didn't have their phones, people couldn't correspond even by letters with their friends, family, loved ones of any kind. You didn't know, like, you're used to having Facebook, you're used to having you're used to being able to text somebody at a moment's notice. So it seems to me that once things got silent and everybody's outside problems went away and people didn't have like their own job or their own issues to really focus on. These smaller things, kind of like what you're talking about here, Taryn, with like a Dungeons and Dragons game. Those little things suddenly became like the biggest things in the world to a lot of the other women who were in there with me. So I would love to get your opinion and for you to share a little bit of what you see behaviorally. Nikki and I both have some experience and have, taken some collegiate classes in psychology. So we would love to hear
Yeah.
a little bit about the things that you see. And thank you for what you do
Yeah, thank you.
as
And
well.
abnormal human behavior, was my my field of choice, specifically, to one day become a profiler with the FBI. And long story, life happened, whatever. I went the nonprofit route and the broke ass route, but it's okay. Sorry, I have the camera off because I had to take her outside. I apologize.
Oh,
Anyway,
no worries.
the point is, in any type of stressful situation, where you are not used to your normal comforts, and you feel stressed, and you feel, like you're not in your natural habitat, and there's no privacy, and everybody's looking over you, and you're uncomfortable all the time. Something as small as a card game, or somebody looking at you funny or whatever can absolutely set you off. You know what I mean? So
Certainly.
I'm not surprised by that at all. Unfortunately, well, I guess fortunately and unfortunately, the prisoners that I saw, it was, a little different. But I can only imagine, Taryn, what you go through on a daily basis, and how many things that you have to deal with, and breaking things up. Now, I'm just going to ask, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but curiosity killed the cat, and they make a mess anyway. So, are you at an all women's prison, or are you at a men's prison? Because I can tell you, I would never, ever want to work in a women's prison. Absolutely not. Way too many hormones. Hell no.
I think this comment that Taryn made, Nikki, kind of answers your question already. She said another time a guy got his nose broken over a game of Uno. I asked, did you throw down a draw 4? Oh, man.
Sorry, I didn't get a chance to see that yet. Okay, anyway.
Well, I mean, she literally just posted it, but I think, and first of all, Taryn, that takes some gonads. If I'm guessing you're a female from your avatar and your screen name. Yep, she is the warden at an all men's, no women or juveniles. So, and I'm just assuming you're female from your avatar and your name, of course. If I'm, you don't have to correct me if you don't want people to know. But if you are indeed a woman at a men's prison, you've got some gonads. You got some cojones, chica, probably bigger than all the men in that prison combined. If we were to create a mountain of the balls of everybody at that prison and put them up next to yours, yeah, you just swing them, honey. Like, kudos to you. All right, let's go on with Dr. Russell here.
Medicine.
Yes.
Are you a member of the National Association of Medical Examiners?
Yes.
Are you a member of the American Academy of Forensic Science?
Yes.
Do you have any public?
All right, National Association of Medical Examiners. And what was the other?
National Association of Forensic Science.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm writing that down. Nikki, if you need to go, please go at any time, and I will pop on your live as soon as I'm done.
I'll give you a few more minutes, honey. We're good. I already posted something saying I'm going to be a little late. So, and told people to come over here if they wanted to.
Okay, awesome. And everyone here in the chat right now, if you are on TikTok at all, if you utilize that app, Nikki is on TikTok. Her username is Stormy_skies11. So Stormy_SKIES. I will go ahead and put that in the chat.
I was trying to do it for you, but you're probably way faster than I am because you know me and technology.
I got you, boo.
Thank
So
you. Okay.
let's see. Oh, it won't let me view my own video. But yeah, Stormy_skies, the number 11. Please, 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 if you're on TikTok, give her a follow. She will keep you up to speed, not just on the Karen Reed case, but on just about every other true crime goings on in that department. So she is a badass and we love her. So yeah, if you're on TikTok, please give her a follow. Most inmates and arrestees respond better to women. Hey, I can see that. I absolutely can see that. When detectives detain a male who will not open up, they call me in because men spill their guts to women. Totally.
I can see that
Yep.
happening. Absolutely.
You just
That's why
need
I
a
said
woman's touch.
I would not want to be anywhere near a woman's prison, you know, and the one that was with me, the one near me was a men's prison, thankfully, I guess. And so, yeah, dealing with the men, I can only imagine is way easier than I mean, God forbid, okay, like knock on wood, I ever get locked up. I feel sorry for whoever has to deal with me in there because I tell you.
And Patricia Taryn is saying that you got some big brass too. Okay, so we all think so.
We are not worthy.
One thing that I will say as an educator, guys and girls, like if they're ever in a fight, they fight completely differently. Guys kind of have like an unspoken set of rules of engagement almost. And I'm not saying that happens every time. I'm speaking in generalizations here, but girls,
we fight
they
dirty.
Don't care.
No,
oh my gosh.
Dirty.
I have seen earrings ripped out of each other's ears. I've seen hair yanked right out of someone's scalp, like by the hand. I've seen some crazy fighting. I mean, girls will play hardball, and guys, they kind of keep it to punching, kicking, wrestling. They're not like, you know, now there is every now and again weaponry,
contraband.
But when you have guys fighting, I don't get shocked as often with what's happening in that fight as I do when I see girls fight. I could probably tell some terrible stories myself. All right, Nikki. If you want to go to your TikTok, you don't even have to say goodbye. Like, just go ahead and leave, okay? But I'm going to keep going. I'm going to finish up this voir dire. And you're welcome to stay, of course. But
I just want to see who's going to come over from TikTok.
Right. Well, I definitely don't want you to feel obligated to stay either.
Now,
I wonder if
I'll give you a few more minutes, and I'm absolutely going to say goodbye. So don't worry about it.
Okay. I wonder if Blunt 45 is going to hop on.
Yeah, me too.
From TikTok. That would make me so happy. I would love to see Blunt 45 on YouTube.
That would be great.
Publications in the area, and I'm going to be very specific because you've been relatively widely published. Is that right?
Oh, awesome, Olive.
Some people would say yes. Some people would say no.
More than a couple of publications.
Correct.
And peer-reviewed journals, correct?
Yes.
I want to focus your attention on animal injuries. Have you been published in the area of animal injuries specifically?
Yes.
Do you recall those publications?
Yes, they had to do with law enforcement dog bites.
Did you draft an article or co-author an article called Managing Law Enforcement Dog Bites in the ER,
Yes, I was a co-author.
1996?
Sounds right.
And that was a peer-reviewed article,
Yes,
ultimately published,
yes,
and ultimately available to be cited by other doctors and studied by other doctors, correct?
correct.
Did you also author or co-author an article entitled Law Enforcement Canine Dog Bites, Injuries, Complications, and Trends?
Yes, I did.
Is that in 1997?
Sounds right.
Was that also peer-reviewed?
Yes,
And that publication was also available for other physicians throughout California and throughout the country to refer to for the study of animal bites and dog bites, correct?
dog bites, yes.
Dog bites. Concerning animal injuries, during the course of your professional experience, how many patients have you seen, diagnosed, and or treated with animal injuries, including dog bites and scratches, if you had to estimate?
Many hundreds.
I hear you, Taryn.
Would you say it's over or under 1,000?
I would say it's over 500. I don't know because we didn't keep really good records back in the earlier days.
But it's safe to say you've seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dog bites and scratches.
Yes, in my 29 years at LA County Hospital, yes. And my dog bites I took care of and dog bites that the residents took care of. Yes.
And you've even published articles and studied, not just seen them, but studied dog bites and dog wounds, correct?
Yes.
So when I say she wrote
Have you
the book,
qualified
she
as an
literally
expert
did.
previously in other courts as in
Yeah, quite literally wrote the book on this shit.
emergency medicine?
Yes.
Have you qualified as an expert in other courts in forensic pathology and wounds?
Yes.
Has that been in both state and federal court?
Yes.
Doctor, were you asked to review certain materials related to this case?
Yes.
And that was in furtherance of coming to, if you could, come to an opinion or a conclusion about injuries to the victim in this case, a person by the name of John O'Keefe.
Yes.
What did you review?
So this is the meat and potatoes of what I wanted to complete from yesterday with Dr. Marie Russell. I mean, I don't even know how to summarize this. In every possible way, Dr. Russell would know whether the injuries to Officer John O'Keefe's arm came from a dog, okay? And if she is flying across the country to tell you, I have seen hundreds, if not thousands, of canine bites.
Over 500.
Yeah, well over 500. I remember her saying that. I authored and published several peer-reviewed articles to be cited for other physicians to use and study on canine attacks and canine bites. So if this lady is flying across the country telling you, nuh-uh, honey, those are dog bites.
You need to believe her.
Yeah, those are some dog bites. Okay. I would also like to comment that if Judge Cannoni decides to show her ass and remove Dr. Russell from the list of expert witnesses to testify in Karen Reed trial, the sequel, several things are going to happen. One, her reputation will be shot. Whether this is sanctionable or not, which it isn't. I mean, she legally can do what she wants.
Unfortunately,
she can do what she wants. Everything's kind of up to her discretion. But should she do this, will it matter because this is looking at those injuries to Officer John O'Keefe. It doesn't take her level of expertise to surmise that that was not from the back of a vehicle. Am I wrong? Exactly, Patricia. Not caused by a broken taillight.
A spontaneously combusting taillight that
Right.
went all over the place into 45 pieces and lodged in his skin and then jumped out of his skin and landed on a yard under snow at different times over 3 weeks. And yet there was no blood on any of the taillight pieces and no taillight piece fragments in his wounds. But I mean, hey, what do we know? We're just the public.
Furthermore, you know, they're going to find somebody else.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. If Dr. Russell is not allowed to give her testimony in Karen Read the sequel, it will not be too difficult for the defense. Hi, Cheryl. Glad you're popping in. Please go back and replay because we're kind of getting ready to wrap up. But what I'm saying now is that anybody who can rub two brain cells together, belly and bones, Nikki,
Yeah.
one of our Tiki Talk friends popped on over. Cheryl, hello. It is so good to see you, darling.
Mwah. Hey, I'm getting ready to go over there in like 2 minutes. Okay, I promise.
Yep, I'm gonna hop over too. So anybody who can rub two brain cells together will tell you that that does not look like it came from a car accident. I've looked up injuries from car accidents, pedestrian strikes as well. And the math don't math, okay? The math ain't mathing with that. So I think it will be very easy for Karen Reed's defense team to find another expert, equally qualified or not, i.e. Garrett Wing, or is it Grant Wing?
Garrett.
Can someone in the chat tell me? Okay.
Garrett.
Mr. Wing, sir. He would be an example, but there are probably hundreds of people out there who know their stuff, who can tell you, no, that looks a whole lot more like injuries that came from an animal.
I agree, Patricia. And here's the thing too. Any medical professional, I don't care if they got their medical degree from a Cracker Jack box. I am not a medical professional. I have not played one on TV, but I am a human being that has gotten hurt in the past. And I happen to know that if a car is going to hit me, any part of me, there's going to be bruising. And I don't bruise easily. Like, you got to hit me with a Mack truck for me to bruise. Believe me, it's going to look like I got hit by a Mack truck, because the blood comes to the surface. There's inflammation. Nurse Kim has all the technical terms. I am not, again, not a medical professional. There is going to be bruising and
fractures.
Zero.
Right. If there was enough of a collision to cause that kind of skin tearing, to cause the taillight to break, then there would be fractures.
And
Absolutely.
you have you went down the rabbit hole on the polycarbonate synthetic ABC 123 stuff. So you know the amount of tension and the amount of pressure that, and I don't remember what it is because I'm dyslexic like that, but you did all the research, ma'am, just so you know. So, Miss Britt Happens knows her shit, okay? She's called Pocket Brit for a reason, because she's smart and shit, and she knows how much pressure it takes to break even the tiniest piece of tail light. God forbid it explode into 45 pieces. and cause someone to pirouette, right? No
Mhm.
injuries below the neck, to spin around clockwise. See, now you guys are messing up my
Clownter.
dyslexia.
Clownter-clockwise. I like it.
Okay, do a pirouette and then fly 30 feet in the air, smack his head and get a 3-inch gash or 2-inch gash back on the occipital bone and lose 3 liters of blood, but you only found enough blood to put a couple of drops into 6 solo cups mixed with snow and
Right.
dirt and grass and probably dog piss and dog shit and God knows what else in there. Okay, sure, because that sounds reasonable. I love you. I'm going to go set up. I will see you in a few minutes. I love you, chat. Good to
All
see
right,
you
darling.
guys, belly and bones. Give me like 2 seconds to grab my little tripod thingy and my heating pad. And I am all yours, your guys for the rest of the evening. You're doing a great job, Britt. I love you. You
I
are
love you.
amazing. You're doing so good. We still need to work on your light, but I can see you better. I can hear you better, and you're not frozen. So
Awesome.
no more. Do you want to build a snowman? Okay. I love you guys.
Yay.
Mwah.
Yay. We made it through. We
I
got
will
all of
see
the
you
information.
soon.
Thank you for popping in with me, Nikki. I'll see you here in a few minutes too. All righty. Patricia, I will totally bring you on with Nurse Kim sometime. I will 100% do it. I think the next time I bring in Nurse Kim, we're going to have what DJ of Calling All Beings would call a round table. Jim says, Auntie will have expert number 2 on a red eye over the holidays. And if she's feeling spicy, she'll cancel/reschedule as the plane is approaching Logan. Isn't that right, Jim? So this actually happened. For those of you who are not recognizing this, this actually took place. We had what was it, a Rule 14 or a Rule 17 hearing that got canceled the day before, mid-flight. I mean, unbelievable. It was becoming so clear so quickly that the Commonwealth was draining Karen of resources intentionally. I mean, you can't help but wonder, right? Cheryl, I'm going to be popping on there with Nikki too. I do mod for her and she mods for me. We help each other. We are linked. We have our arms linked. Bye, Nikki. Yes, we love her. We absolutely love her. Oh, Patricia, you live in Massachusetts. Awesome possum. I do not. And I know that there are a lot of people in Massachusetts who maybe are wanting to keep a little more quiet, and I completely understand. There was a case that I was quite literally about to do my very first YouTube on, and it was local to me. But as it got closer and closer to time, I realized, you know what, it would not be very difficult for the wrong person with a different opinion from me to discover who I am, where I work, you know, and I'm not just talking doxing, I'm talking about a short drive over to my place of residence and to my family, you know. So I completely understand the people in Massachusetts who want to remain a little more reserved on these controversial issues. But if there is anything that you guys are, you know, too scared to discuss, please let me know. I'm going to put my email for the channel in the chat. Okay, there it is. And if there's anything that you want to see discussed on here, if you would like to come on here, if you have some kind of recommendation or a comment like, hey, get better lighting, which I'm working on. Hey, get a better camera. You should, you know, lose 50 pounds. I mean, whatever constructive criticism you have for me, please just email me there. That is where I'm going to be taking all my communications for this channel. Oh, awesome, Patricia. Oh, goodness. Rocker Chick, we would love to have you. You were always, always, always welcome here, darling. Okay, guys, so do we want to hear any more of the Dr. Russel Wadier? I really was just planning on going over her expertise, experience, and education, but would you guys like to hear more? Would you like to hear Auntie Bev trying to trip her up, or her talking about what her opinion is and what she plans to testify to, or anything like that? Okay. Cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. My back's hurting. Oh, thanks so much. Guys, we did it. We made it to the end without me freezing, disappearing. Okay? I feel so awful that that all had to happen with Nurse Kim there, trying to like keep y'all entertained in between my my appearances. I mean, oh my gosh, what a mess. But we're going to figure it out together. We'll get there together. I am kind of merrily learning the technology aspect of all this as I go along. I'm obviously quite new to YouTube. If you guys would like to know a little bit of my content background, it's not much. About 2 months ago, I made my first actual content on TikTok. So TikTok is where I kind of started discussing controversial issues. I have a passion for calling out injustice where I see it. And I figured, well, I can either sit on my couch and complain about it to my husband, or I can do something about it and try to help bring awareness to it. And if the right people see it, then maybe it can affect some change. And you know what? Since I've done that, I have gotten connected with some of the best people, both on TikTok, on Twitter, on YouTube. So it has been such a blessing for me to have connected with you guys in the chat, to have connected with other people who currently aren't here. But this has been such an uplifting community, and I plan to stay in it. If you guys enjoy the channel so far, there are a couple things you can do. One, you can like, subscribe, or share. If you would like to help support this channel, because this channel does now pay for a upgraded StreamYard. It does now pay for an upgraded Twitter and things like that. You can look at the banner at the bottom, which gives the channel's Venmo and all that. Never expected, but always greatly appreciated. Venmo and Cash App are down there. Also, if you would like to come back, I mean, that is the biggest way that you can support me. Come back and participate in the chat. Oh my God, it's my friend. It is my TikTok friend, guys. This is Cheryl. She is another member of the Pre-Care and Read community who I've been in contact with for months, and we just absolutely love the bejesus out of her too. So yeah, the best way that you guys can support this channel would be to come back. As of right now, we have our next show taking place on Sunday, the 15th of December. So that is in 6 days. We will be welcoming in attorney Andrew Myers. Andrew is a member of the Massachusetts Bar. He is a practicing lawyer. He mostly does like personal injury and bankruptcy, but he does also have some experience in criminal law. And I'm not going to share too much about it, but he does personally know Hank Brennan. And he has a lot to share. Yes, Jim, he does know Hank. He has a lot of knowledge, not just about criminal law, but about Massachusetts law in general. He actually has his own channel called About the Law with attorney Andrew D. Myers. He and his, I think she's his paralegal. It's a younger girl named Lainey Law. They share a lot of great content. Yes, Jim, Lainey. Yep, Lainey is awesome. Red the Intern is awesome. Yoli is awesome. So please, guys, give him a follow. We're trying to get him to 10,000 followers as well, or 10,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. Great material. You can learn so much from him. I only found him like a few weeks ago, and I've already learned so stinking much. So yeah, come back next week for a very interesting live chat with Andrew Myers. And then 2 days after Andrew Myers, we're going to have another honored guest. You may know her already if you live in the state of Massachusetts. She is the sister of the departed Just en Route. Her name is Jennifer Root Bannon. She has been fighting for justice for her brother since day one. Her brother was wrongfully taken from us by the Boston PD, and a lot of the evidence and truth about what happened to Justin was, you guessed it, covered up, and some of which was by DA Michael Morrissey. He had a hand in this too. So we will do a deep dive in the Just en Route case on Tuesday, December 17th. That is going to be in the early afternoon time, TBA. I need to just double check the time, but I will be obviously making announcements on Twitter. I'm going to try to on TikTok as well. So guys, I would love to see you back here. Again, that's the #1 way that y'all can support me and my baby channel. Yes, Patricia, she is awesome. She is a boots on the ground go-getter of a person. So we want to support her as much as possible too. We're working on getting some kind of a GoFundMe set up for her and her family, so that they can kind of recuperate some of the legal expenses that they've had to shell out. All they really want is an investigation that's independent. Okay. I'm sure if you know anything about the community that wants transparency, I would say the one thread that ties all these cases together is the self-investigation, the internal investigations, because they clearly have shown, and I've seen this on signs before too, they cannot investigate themselves. We all know how that turns out. They come forward and say, oh, we've thoroughly searched ourselves and found nada, nothing, zilch, zip. We all know how that's going to come back. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and hop off here. I so much appreciate each and every one of you for popping in, including the replay crew. Hello to you. Next week is just going to be buck wild. So please come back the 15th and the 17th, Sunday and Tuesday of next week. I will see you there. Peace, love, and butt dials. Have a great night.